Welcome to the Fort Iron Podcast.
Luke chapter 1, verse 31. And behold, you will conceive in your womb and bring forth a son, and shall call his name Jesus. Boom. The reason for the season. This will be dropping December 3rd. So we will be done with Thanksgiving, rolling into the Christmas holidays. My favorite time of the year. No, it's yours. Probably a lot of listeners as well. I mean, speaking of silly stuff at Christmas, kind of what this whole podcast is going to be about, weird traditions, meaningless traditions, and traditions that we need to continue to uphold. Maybe some we need to adopt and do together to keep Jesus the main reason for the season up there. But you just can't, Mariah Carey plays every 5 minutes, Bing Crosby, Frank Sinatra. You got, the Grinch, Tim Allen, Santa Claus. There's all kinds of good, wholesome things that are going on throughout this season. Christmas lights. Oh, my goodness. And my absolute favorite, and shout out to the Men of Valor podcast, Men of Valor Ministries, my boy Randall Ballou, right here, my Little Debbie brother. Little Debbie's, if y'all don't know, has just an amazing line of Christmas-themed treats, from North Pole Nutty Buddies to snowflake brownies and Christmas tree cakes. And goodness gracious, I will eat every one of them. They're delicious. Speaking of that, though, you were telling me before we started recording of weird food traditions around the world for Christmas. You want to know my favorite weird food around Christmas time that you don't normally hear about unless it's Christmas time? A beef Wellington. I don't know if you ever had one of those, bro. They're off the chain. That little peach cobbler. Time to feast, time to be around with the family. But anyway, go ahead. Talk about some of your silly foods and other silly traditions.
We were going to talk about traditions tonight. We're going to get to some really good stuff and stuff we should really be focusing on. But yeah, figured we'd start with some silly stuff. I ran across a list of, top 25, and I picked a few of them out. Japan. Not really known for celebrating Christmas per se, but they do celebrate the holidays. And one of their favorite things is apparently fried chicken, but not just any fried chicken. Has to be the Colonel's special recipe.
Oh, straight from Kentucky.
Yep. Some good old KFC chicken for the holidays in Japan. Holiday meal.
The best.
Yep. Germany. Apparently they hide a pickle ornament in the tree, which I had family in Germany. I had to ask them about this one. And then if you find the pickled ornament, then you get a special gift.
All right. If we're going to be honest right now, how good are fried pickles? Fried pickles with that zesty ranch sauce. Oh, it ain't got to be Christmas to eat those. You can have those year round. That's the best. It really is.
That's one of Morgan's favorites.
Sorry to interrupt.
No, Morgan loves those.
Right.
Yep. Iceland. They do book exchanges, which is not really too silly. But they'll sit around the fireplace afterwards.
No.
And
we do that here.
Yeah. Fruitcake. I love a good fruitcake. The Walmart, Target wrapped up. Yeah, no. Elf on a Shelf.
She's a beaut clerk.
Yeah.
Hate fruitcake.
This one is probably the one that tops
stop right there.
What, fruitcake?
Dude, it's disgusting.
Oh, it's
Do you actually eat it?
Oh, yeah. I love fruitcake. Good fruitcake. Homemade, real good fruitcake. Not the junk that you buy, little cellophane wrap. Shrink wrap.
Yeah, I've never had it from the store. It's always been some crap somebody's made at the church Christmas dinner or family Christmas get-together. They've made, I tried my homemade fruitcake. It tastes like dirt. Ugh.
It's the gift that keeps on giving, Clark.
It's like someone had some Smucker's jelly and they were putting ants spray out in their yard to get rid of ants, and they dropped their sandwich in the dirt and they picked it up and was like, I'm gonna eat this. Oh, this is now a tradition because it's delicious. Gross. That's what it tastes like. It's disgusting.
You've never had my fruitcake. No, I don't make fruitcakes. Sorry. It's a joke.
If you eat fruitcake, you're a fruitcake.
We lived in West Memphis, and everybody was like, you've never had my menudo. That's why you don't like you just haven't had mine. If you try mine, you'll love menudo. I don't think so. Cow stomach soup, I just do not like. I love Mexican food. Don't get me wrong. Authentic, good, fiery, hot Mexican food. I love it. Can't do the menudo.
Shout out, Amigos Locos.
Yeah. So, but anyway, we'll get to the last little funny one here real quick. Mexico, night of the radishes. Apparently, there's one town that does a nativity carving in radishes, in the skins of radishes. Do a contest of this. Yep.
That's whatever. I ain't got no words.
Should have brought a fruitcake. I'm hungry.
Huh? That's disgusting.
Oh, you want to switch gears now?
Yeah, we go ahead and switch gears into something we enjoy. Some food's great and all, but the Christmas time of everyone just in a good mood for the most part. You get your mamas and grandmas and aunts, all them who are stressed out over buying gifts and I got to decorate this. I got to make sure this food dish is prepared or whatever. But overall, everybody's in a lot better mood. They're in like a giving mood. They're they're jolly. There you go. That's the seasonal word. They're jolly.
Yeah.
And it's just good to have everybody in that type of mood, for a season.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Well, we'll talk about a few things that we do around our house. One that Cody really likes. He likes the my mama bear, right? Get the Christmas village.
Mama bear.
Yeah, my wife does a Christmas village. That's a little bit bigger than most. She's went like insane on her Christmas village. It's like literally 12 towns. Every one of them completely different. Train running through around this stuff. Took out half of a building I had out here just to put it in. It's crazy.
It's the greatest thing you'll ever see in your life when it comes to, Christmas decor. It fills my heart with glee and happiness. It's amazing.
She's put a lot of work into it. She loves it. I just kind of go along with it. What can you do?
All right, Mr. Grinch.
Oh yeah. Let's see. Let's see what else. Some things that we did growing up as a kid. We used to always get together on Christmas Eve, read the Christmas story, and we were allowed to pick one present to open at night. But we'd sit around as a family, going around, just sitting around and just reading through the Christmas story, read through Luke. So,
yeah.
Yep. What about you?
Well, growing up, we always went to my dad's mom's house, my Nana Joyce. We always went to her house, like the whole family, everybody. And, the adults always drew a name at Thanksgiving. So, my parents would buy for my Aunt Tina's kids. My Aunt Tina would buy for Aunt Tammy's kids, so on and so forth. So it was always, we got over there, my grandma done cooked all day long, and we'd open presents. And then after that, it was y'all go play, and the adults went and did their thing. So there was no real Jesus as far as that goes with our main tradition. But, we would always leave my grandparents' house, my dad, my mom, brother, sister, and me. and we would go to the Christmas Eve service at church, and we would go do that once we were done with family stuff. My daughter over here is deciding to just dump a Capri Sun all over the counter for some reason. So, sorry guys, get it up. Yeah, we can edit it, we can leave it, whatever. But yeah, so growing up, that was my, my family's big Christmas tradition was go to grandma's house, hang out, and then we'd go to church, as a family, go home, go to sleep, wake up, open gifts. We never done the Elf on the Shelf because it had came out when my sister was still young, but me and my brother were old enough, and we never believed in Santa Claus or anything like that. My mom, she couldn't justify being new in the faith. Her and my dad being fairly new Christians, they couldn't justify telling me and my brother and sister about Santa Claus and telling us about Jesus at the same time when they both have the same attributes. He sees you when you're sleeping, he knows when you're awake, things like that. That if I find out that, this Santa Claus guy who flies around in the sky, gives presents out, isn't real, well, how's this Jesus guy also not real either? So, there was never the Santa Claus thing growing up in my house. So it was really family and then church for that evening, and then it was just hanging out, gift giving, playing with toys. My dad being a Southern gospel singer, there was always music playing. I think that's why my love of Christmas music is the way it is. There was a Bing Crosby on repeat constantly, like him and Gene Autry, and like to this day I still have a playlist. And I listened to it on the way home from work today. That we were talking back and forth. I was like, "You're interrupting my Christmas music, bro. I'm trying to get the season started early." But now transferring, from when I was a kid to now being a father and having 3 kids of my own, we had did the Elf on the Shelf thing. You can ask any one of my children. They're like, well, Santa Claus is real, but not the one that flies around in the sky. We went through the book. It's called There Really Was a Santa Claus, that goes through St. Nicholas and the impact that he had in his story of all that, how he became the bishop down there in Tyre. And, he was at the Council of Tours, where he actually was debating with the Arian heresy people about the deity of Christ. So St. Nicholas, the real Santa Claus, was, a pretty solid dude. He goes in there, he was like, hey, man, Jesus was the Son of God, and you need to do that. To the point, it is recorded in the Council of Tours documents that St. Nicholas smacked a dude. Like, Santa Claus was awesome. So, and my kids will tell you that. So that's been the thing that my mom instilled in me, that was, I don't know how to differentiate Santa Claus from Jesus Christ. So I'm going to give you the historical Santa Claus. And maybe it's not that quotation Santa's not real, but it can open up a door for you to talk to your friends at school, talk to your teacher about when, they're every coloring page starting after Thanksgiving has a picture of Santa on it. So, it's just a different way that even as a young child, you can, really show that he is the reason for the season, that even this big mythical character came from someone following Christ. So that's kind of traditions that we do here.
Shout out to the podcast too, back very, very first podcast that we did. I think it's like episode 3, where you walk through a lot of that too. If anybody listening to this wants to go back to the beginning, you talked about it
on our social media.
Yeah. So
yeah,
there you go, guys.
I'll repin that up, and I'll also put the book in the show notes down there as well. There Really Is a Santa Claus by William Federer from the American Minute. And it goes into everything. I think my favorite tradition right now with my kids is, so we got the little shepherd, it's a little little shepherd guy, and you read this story. And so you put him all over the house, kind of like Elf on the Shelf. But he works his way towards the star. He's following the star to get to Jesus. Where's the star? On top of the tree. So on Christmas morning, that shepherd is stuck in the tree somewhere, and it's always fun for them to wake up and be like, where's the shepherd at today? How close is he? Is he getting close to Jesus? And Evie has a little baby, you've seen it, the little baby doll Jesus, and his little manger. And, we keep him over there throughout the season. So those are some of my favorite ones from my childhood and on into what I'm doing now as a dad.
Yeah. Some of the stuff, I remember growing up, we go to church, obviously, but we didn't do a lot of, other than the Christmas Eve, we would read back at our house once we got bigger. But whenever I was younger, we would just go to St. Louis and spend time with my grandparents on both sides are in St. Louis. We'd go spend time with the cousins, and it was just the typical Christmas tree with as many dadgum gifts you can put into a room and try to still walk. Yeah. It was just insane. Yeah. And I was sitting there laughing earlier. You were talking, and it brought back one of my memories. And I'd forgot about this, but we used to have, you're gonna laugh. One of our traditions, Indian leg wrestling competition every Christmas.
Yes.
And so me and my cousin that passed away here just like 2 years ago, we were doing that and got to roughhousing. And I guess I was quite a bit smaller than him. He flung me, and when he flung me, to this day, dude, I cringe. Off went one of these like 1800s with crystals hanging all the way around it, lamps.
Oh goodness!
Bam!
Swarovski.
Oh, it broke and shattered my grandma. You could. It's like as soon as it hit, the whole house went quiet as it could be. Oh, it was bad. But yeah, and then now today, looking for I know, and then now today, one of our favorite traditions will start December 1st, and we will read one chapter of Luke every single day for 24 days. You make it through the whole chapter of Luke, or whole book of Luke, which then you get the birth, all of Jesus' life, the death, the resurrection. You get to see the whole picture of Christ from the 1st of December through the 24th. And then you turn around and wake up Christmas morning and celebrate that birth. Yeah. So that's one of the things we do now.
Yeah, that's, we talked about that a couple of weeks ago in preparation, just getting podcast topics and stuff ready. So that's something we're going to do here this year as well. I can't wait. Obviously, 1, 5, and 7, trying to get them to sit down to read a whole chapter. Kind of hard. Gracie will, Evie. We'll see.
Yeah.
But either way, me and Leanna plan to do it just to talk there. But yeah, that's something I'm looking forward to this year. What is your favorite Christmas memory that you have, whether it be a toy, something you did, something like that? What's your favorite Christmas memory?
You're gonna laugh at me again. See, I'm gonna date myself. By the way, Cody said something like, when you were born in the 90s. I'm like, born in the I got a 30-year reunion coming up next year. And so anyway, one of my favorites, my grandmother.
You graduated when I was born, right?
2 years after. January 94. Yeah. So I know. So my grandma Hughes, my dad's side, obviously, they never made it. They were older. My grandma was like 43 when she had my dad. So they were older. They didn't travel a lot. My grandma, my grandparents on my mom's side, they would come down quite a bit. We would St. Louis quite a bit, but only one time I remember my grandparents come down, and they come down, and there was a commercial that popped up on retro commercials or whatever. And I was like, dude. And I saw that about a year and a half, 2 years ago, and to this day, it still reminds me. It's probably one of the favorite memories I've ever had. It was probably the year after I had my open heart surgery. I had open heart surgery when I was like 4. And so it was probably that year that that I was either 4, almost 5, or 5. Anyway, but I remember Evel Knievel motorcycle. Put it on a little ramp thing. It clicked in place. Wind that baby up. And then, bam, you hit that button and it'd fly off, and it'd ramp. Evel Knievel. Yes, sir. And she brought that, and I remember that to this day. It was one of my favorite Christmases ever. You?
Oh, man. I remember watching Evel Knievel with my dad. I think my favorite, it has nothing to, it's just my granddad. So I was probably 9 or 10 at the time in. So you got to tell this story to get to my favorite story. 9 or 10 or so. This is shortly after my grandma and other grandpa, the one that, we went to their house every Christmas Eve. They were like, I don't know what they were doing. They quit doing it for some reason. So everybody was coming to our house. And so we all finished up, and the neighborhood that we moved into, every single house on the daggum corner, all through the neighborhood, every one of them had Christmas lights on it. So we loaded up in my dad's truck. He had a long bed, Chevy 2500. So the whole family fit in the back. And we're just riding around the neighborhood, listening to Christmas music, singing, looking at all these lights and stuff. All the kids are back there, aunts, uncles. It's a good time. I think he even hooked a trailer up to fit, to have everybody on it. And so we're riding around, and my mom, I kid you, like, there is a 12-foot nutcracker. This thing is humongous, like wood, whole nine, like a real 12-foot nutcracker. And we were all like, oh my goodness, how much did this thing cost? This is legit, right? So it turns out the lady's husband built it or whatever. But my mom had to stop the truck, get out, take a picture with it, all this stuff. Her dad wasn't there that night. So something happened, he couldn't show up, my grandpa on my mom's side. So it was probably 2 or 3 nights later, him and Miss Burt, that's what we call my grandma on her side, Miss Burt. So they're over. My Aunt Sharon says it's like my mom's side of the family comes over this time. And all she's talking about, Dad, you got to see this 12-foot nutcracker. We drive up and down the road, all around, can't find this thing. Nowhere to be found. Like probably over an hour out there driving around, couldn't find it. And we come around the corner, like my dad's turning the truck real slow. And my Papa Tony goes, hey, look. And everybody's like, what? He goes, there it ain't. And dude, lost it. Everybody fell out laughing. Like my Aunt Sharon, daggum, spit her coffee out. Like me and my brother were already snotty because it's cold. We snotting on ourselves. Like it was so funny because that's just how he is. Just he won't say nothing. He's very stoic. Doesn't have a lot of jokes. Doesn't speak too much. But when he does, it's either wisdom or something hilarious like that. And I just remember that making my mom so mad, but everybody else was laughing their butts off at it. That's my favorite Christmas memory from growing up. Oh, Tony Westbrook, the man, the myth, the legend.
Oh. Well, I got one close second runner up. Last year's Christmas.
We gonna go there?
I don't know. I'm just saying. I remember last year's Christmas.
If we go there, our listeners are going to be hearing this and they're like, well, we want to see it. And then it's going to have to be on social media and everyone's going to see it. You understand this, right?
Yep. Well, I've already let the cat out of the bag at this point.
All right, here it goes.
Well, we were just, I found them or something, and I sent, so I'm on Amazon or something. I don't even know what I'm doing. Somehow I run across these, what are they even called, man? Yodeling.
They're like, I don't know, like yodeler outfits. They look like something like Oktoberfest.
Yeah, exactly. Oktoberfest outfit things, right?
Yeah.
And so we were joking around with Carl, And we're like, yeah, we ought to wear these for Christmas, this and that. Next thing I know, Carl's like, oh, by the way, they've been shipped. I'm like, what? Carl bought them for me, Cody, and Brian. And so, because we were joking, we're going to the circus. And it's a local company here that teaches actually circus performers how to perform and like teaches all these different things. But they hold their own little circus every year for Christmas for about 2 weeks.
It's awesome.
Yeah, they're good people too. Just some local good people. But anyway, yeah, my wife got to walk out, and Leanna, Cody's wife, walked out, and they saw us just standing there in these things with lederhosen and the whole 9 yards. And they're like, "Are you kidding me?" Like, nope, we're going to town. You ready to go? And we wore them to the circus.
Now, granted, the women are dressed up because they think we're going out, with the fam. They're dressed up. They're ready for pictures, the whole nine. And we're dressed like we're about to go friggin' pound pints with the daggum Deutschland.
It was classic. Everybody at the whole circus, we're all looking at us and cutting up, and yeah.
Oh, I already have in my head what I'm going to do for this YouTube thumbnail, by the way.
It's not going to have our picture on it, is it?
Oh, yeah, it is. It's going to be phenomenal.
Oh,
I can't
man.
wait.
I'll tell you what. Holidays are time. Friends, family. Obviously, it's number one. And it is about Jesus. But coming together as Christian brothers and families and sisters, it's a special time of year.
Yeah.
Centered around our Savior on top of that, which is just as if we needed anything else.
At the end of the day, you hear them, oh, well, happy holidays. Use that as a time. Use that. The Palmer method. Y'all have heard it before. Fort Iron gives you some how-tos. Here's a how-to. Most of your people out there in customer service now are going to say happy holidays because their boss tells them to. Hey, Merry Christmas offends people, say happy holidays. Use that as a time. Ask them, hey, why are you saying happy holidays, not Merry Christmas? And if they tell you, oh, well, I'm a Christian, but the boss says, okay, you can leave it at that. If they say, well, I'm not a Christian, so I don't want to say this, but like, well, you know what the holidays were? It was the 8 holy days between his birth and the circumcision, according to Jewish tradition. So you're still mentioning Christ with your holidays. There's always a little in, because that's what we're about. Go in there and talk about the Lord. Use this time of giving, receiving, Christmas lights. Let your lights shine. All these lights shining up the night right here, they're gorgeous. How gorgeous is the light Jesus shined for us? Like, bro, the glory, like we can't see it until our sanctification's done and we're, in heaven with him. Like, we can't even fathom the glory of that. So try to fathom it while we're here and let our light shine just a little bit like his does. And you can make it happen. You can always find an end to talk about the Lord, especially during the Christmas season. Probably another one of my favorite parts about it.
Yep.
You back?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Jason popped off there for a second.
Yeah.
But yeah, so to close us up here, you got any final Christmas thoughts?
Not a lot. This has been funnest. Yeah, it's just been one of the fun podcasts where we just kind of cut up. But we're gonna have the next one coming out closer to Christmas is gonna be more serious. We've got something we've been talking about. And, you know, this one's a fun one. But, you know, when it all seriousness, the world does not like Christmas. They don't like Jesus because Jesus didn't say that he is a Lord, a way, you know, a truth. He is the truth, the way. And, you know, celebrating his birth sometimes is offensive this time of year, and it's getting to be worse every year. And so, yeah, this one's been a fun one. So, yeah. We're looking forward to the next one, too.
Yeah, the next one's going to be a little more serious, hit some topics. And, of course, you know, we may or may not have a guest on it. We're not sure yet. But if the guest comes on there, it's going to be fun. But with everything Jason and I have said here, like, I just want to, you know, leave you with this before we get to our announcements. It's Luke 2, starting at verse 30. For my eyes have seen your salvation, which you have prepared before the face of all peoples, a light to bring revelation to the Gentiles and the glory of your people Israel. That's Jesus. He's talking about Jesus right there. Again, with the light. Like, Christmas lights, the light of Jesus. No one, you know, puts the lamp on the hill and covers it up, but they let the light show so all the peoples of the house can see it. That's what we're supposed to be doing right now. But yeah, just to slide on in to our announcements, April 4th through the 7th, the next retreat. Go ahead, get your sign in up there. I hope you guys enjoyed the Christmas podcast intro. It would be awesome to keep that year round. You can thank Carl for that. Carl also has some lyrics that you will probably hear on the next podcast, where he's reworking some Christmas favorite songs into some Repent Now songs.
Make them a little more theological.
A little more theological Christmas carols. I'll just give you one little tidbit to end it on a comedy note. Rudolph the Repentant Sinner is the title of one of them. Yes. Oh, anyway, sign up for the retreat. You need materials. Check us out on forwardironministries.com under the resource page. We got everything. We're on Instagram, X. My bad. I keep wanting to say Twitter. It's X. Mr. Tesla changed it on us. And Facebook, we are constantly posting on there, you know, just different thoughts, things of what we're doing with the ministry. And thanks for hanging out with us at the fort.
Grace and peace.
There you go. I was waiting on it, Slowpoke.
Since Carl's not here, they got to do it for him.
Oh, Merry Christmas, you filthy sinners.